Hey everyone, welcome back to Smart and Crazy You. I was just talking to my friend who owns a small bakery, and she was telling me about this nightmare she went through a couple of weeks ago. Her whole computer system was locked up, all her recipes, customer orders, everything just gone. She got a message demanding Bitcoin. It was a ransomware attack, and it nearly put her business under. That's when I realized this isn't just some sci movie plot anymore. This is real life, and it's happening to regular people, everyday people.
Yeah, I've been hearing a lot about these ransomware attacks. And let me tell you, it's terrifying how these cybercriminals are getting more and more sophisticated. They're like ghosts in the machine, sneaking into your computer, holding your files hostage.
It's like they're playing a high stakes game of digital chess and we're just trying to figure out the rules. And guess what? We just found out that these cyber criminals aren't playing alone anymore. They've got a new partner, a partner that could change the whole game. They're using AI.
Wait, you're saying AI is helping hackers, like those chatbots that can write code and answer your questions? They're helping criminals break into computers? That's a bit of a mind blower, isn't it?
Totally. It's like something straight out of a cyberpunk dystopia. Remember those cheesy sci movies where the bad guys have access to supercomputers that can hack anything? Well, we're starting to see that reality come to life.
But how does a chatbot actually help with hacking? I mean, it's not like it can physically type the code to break into your computer, is it?
That's where it gets really interesting. Imagine you're a hacker and you're trying to break into a locked door. You have your tools, your lockpicks, but you're not quite sure which ones to use. ChatEat is like having a super smart friend who can tell you the best way to pick the lock, which tools to use, and even how to avoid making noise.
So it's like a digital accomplice. But how can you be sure it's not just spitting out some random code or giving bad advice?
That's a good question. We don't have all the answers yet. This is still a very new and complex issue, but we do know that these hackers, especially state sponsored groups, have been using AI to enhance their hacking capabilities in some really surprising ways.
Like what? Give me some specific examples.
Well, there was this case with a hacker group called Forest Blizzard linked to Russia. They were caught red handed using ChatEat for a whole bunch of things. First, they were using it to improve their existing hacking scripts. It's like having a coding tutor to help you tweak your code to make it more effective, harder to detect, and faster to execute.
So they're using AI to improve their hacking skills? But why are we worried about a chatbot helping hackers write better scripts? That sounds more like a programmer's assistant than a weapon of mass destruction.
You're right, John. That's where it gets a bit scarier. It's not just about scripts. Forest Blizzard was also using ChatGPT to research military technology. Imagine someone using a super smart search engine to find blueprints for satellites or radar systems. It's like giving a master thief a GPS that can find the most valuable treasures in the world.
Wow. So it's not just about stealing your data anymore. They're trying to gather intelligence that could be used for espionage or even warfare. This is a whole new level of cybercrime.
Absolutely. This is what we call assisted hacking. These hackers aren't just using AI for basic tasks, that they're using it to understand complex technologies and potentially develop new ways to exploit vulnerabilities. It's like having a super smart friend who can help you build a whole new set of tools, and those tools are capable of creating real world damage.
But hold on, Sarah. Don't you think OpenAI, the company that made Checked, is doing anything to stop this?
OpenAI isn't just sitting back and watching this happen, they're taking action. They've already shut down accounts that were being used by state sponsored hackers. They're also working with other companies and researchers to develop better safeguards and keep a close eye on how people are using their AI. They're basically trying to stay one step ahead of the hackers, but it's a constant race.
I'm not convinced. I think OpenAI needs to do more. They created this powerful tool, and now they have to take responsibility for how it's being used. They can't just ban a few accounts and call it a day. We need stronger measures, like maybe building some sort of AI firewall or even limiting what people can do with these chatbots.
John, I get your point, but it's not as simple as just flicking a switch. AI is a double edged sword. It can be used for good, but it can also be used for bad. And we need to be careful not to stifle innovation or creativity in the name of security.
But Sarah, I'm not advocating for censorship. I just think we need to be proactive in our defense. We need to be thinking ahead about the potential for AI powered hacking and developing ways to protect ourselves from it.
Well, John, maybe OpenAI is thinking ahead more than you realize. They're monitoring the situation, sharing information with other companies, and constantly looking for new ways to prevent misuse. It's a long and complex process, but they're working on it.
I guess I'm just a little bit worried, Sarah. It's like we're at the beginning of a new arms race, and the bad guys are already using advanced weaponry, while we're still trying to figure out how to build our own guns.
Don't despair, John. It's true that AI is adding a whole new layer of complexity to cybersecurity, but it also gives us new tools to defend ourselves. We can use AI to analyze data, identify vulnerabilities, and predict future attacks. We just need to be smart about how we develop and deploy these tools.
I guess you're right, Sarah. This is a game of cat and mouse, and we're playing against some very clever mice. But we can't afford to lose. This isn't just about protecting our computers anymore. It's about protecting our way of life, our democracy, and our freedom.
That's exactly it, John. It's about the future of our world, but we're not just going to sit back and watch. We're going to learn, adapt, and fight back. We're going to use all the tools at our disposal, including AI, to create a safer and more secure future for everyone.
Okay, Sarah, you've got me excited. Now, let's talk about open source software. It's like the Wild West of the internet, and we've already seen how hackers can exploit it. We've talked about AI and how it can be used for hacking, but what about open source software?
That's a great segue, John. Open source software is a bit like a giant digital library. It's a place where developers from all over the world can share their code, their inventions, their creations, and help each other build amazing things.
But it's also a place where hackers can hide their nasty little surprises, right?
You're right, John. Open source software can be a double edged sword. It's great for collaboration and innovation, but it also creates opportunities for bad actors to slip in and infect systems. And that's exactly what happened in a recent case that sent shockwaves through the cybersecurity community.
Tell me more about this.
It all started with a cybersecurity firm called Phylum. They had created this awesome automated system that scans the Python package index or Pipey for malicious software. Imagine it's like a robot librarian who's constantly checking every book on the shelves for hidden viruses.
IP, what exactly is that?
Pipey is like a giant warehouse filled with millions of tiny packages of code, each one a building block for creating software. Developers can go to Pipey to download these packages and use them to build their applications. It's like going to a hardware store and picking out the parts you need to build a house.
So if someone were to sneak a malicious package onto Pipey, they could potentially infect a huge number of systems. It's like poisoning the well for everyone.
Exactly. That's what happened with these hackers. They snuck in 6 malicious packages, cleverly named to look like legitimate software. It's like hiding a poisonous mushroom among a basket of edible ones. Developers downloaded these packages, unknowingly installing malware on their systems.
And what kind of malware was this?
Two types. First, they had information stealers, which are like digital burglars that steal sensitive data from your computer. Think of them as sneaky little programs that can grab your passwords, credit card numbers, and other personal information.
That's bad enough, but what about the other type of malware?
They also had remote access Trojans or rats. These are even more insidious. They're like digital spies that give hackers a backdoor into your system. They can control your computer from afar, steal data, install other malware, and even watch everything you do on your screen. It's like giving a stranger a key to your house and a set of binoculars to peek inside.
Wow. So this was a very serious attack. They were targeting the very foundation of the internet, the building blocks of software development.
You know, John, it gets even more interesting. These hackers weren't just using ordinary methods, they were using something called Cloudflare Tunnel to hide their tracks. It's like they found a way to use the Postal Service's own trucks to deliver stolen packages, hiding their criminal activity in plain sight.
Like Cloudflare, isn't that a company that helps secure websites?
That's right, John. Cloudflare is a legitimate company that provides security and performance services for websites. They're like the guardians of the digital world, but these hackers found a way to exploit a feature of their service called Cloudflare Tunnel. This feature allows users to create private connections between their websites and Cloudflare's servers. It's meant to be a secure and fast way to connect to the internet.
So the hackers were using a security tool to hide their malware. That's brilliant, but also kind of scary.
It's brilliant in the sense that they found a way to exploit a trusted service, but it's also terrifying because it shows just how adaptable and creative these hackers can be. They're finding new ways to bypass our defenses, and we need to be prepared for them.
And this whole pipey thing, it's not just about Python, right?
No, John, this is a problem that could affect any open source software repository. It highlights the growing importance of supply chain security. If hackers can compromise a trusted source, they can potentially infect millions of systems. It's like a chain reaction where one weak link can bring down the whole system.
So what can we do about this? It feels like we're fighting a losing battle.
It's true that we're facing some serious challenges, but there are steps we can take. Organizations need to be vigilant about monitoring their software updates and patching vulnerabilities. We need to be more careful about what packages we download and use.
And what about Cloudflare? Do you think they should be held accountable for their role in this attack?
It's a complicated issue. Cloudflare is trying to make their service more secure, but it's hard to anticipate every possible misuse of a technology. It's like trying to make a bulletproof vest that can protect against every possible type of bullet.
I'm not sure about that, Sarah. It's like the company created a superhighway for hackers, and they're now saying, hey, it's not our fault if someone speeds down the highway and causes an accident. They need to be taking more responsibility for how their tools are being used.
John, we need to be careful about blaming the tools. The real problem is the bad actors. They're the ones using these tools for malicious purposes. We need to find ways to stop them, to hold them accountable.
Okay, I get it. We also need to be more proactive in our defense. We need to develop new technologies, new ways to secure our digital world. We can't just keep patching holes in, a sinking ship. We need to build a new ship entirely.
And you're right, John. And that's exactly what's happening. Researchers and cybersecurity experts are constantly working to develop new defenses, new strategies, and even new AI technologies to protect us from these threats. It's a constant game of chess with both sides adapting and evolving.
So, what are the biggest takeaways from this whole AI and open source software thing?
Well, John, I think we've learned a few important things. First, AI is a powerful tool and it's changing the landscape of cybersecurity. We need to be aware of how hackers are using AI and developing ways to protect ourselves.
And we also need to be more vigilant about supply chain security. Open source software is a valuable resource, but it also presents risks. We need to be careful about what packages we download and use.
Exactly. And most importantly, we need to stay informed. This isn't just a tech issue, it's a global issue that impacts everyone. We need to be vigilant, adaptable, and collaborative in our defense.
I think you're right, Sarah. This is a battle for the future of our digital world, and it's a battle we can't afford to lose.
Well said, John. And remember, folks, knowledge is power. Stay informed, stay vigilant, and stay safe out there.
And thanks for listening, everyone. We'll see you next time on Smart and Crazy.